Welcome, fellow your Potheads, Joe Pal Putty Man here, and today I am dropping an oldie. And when I mean an oldie. So, before I changed my main channel's name to Putty, just Putty, it used to be called Gamer Potheads. But you're here on Gamer Potheads, you might be saying. Well, I actually changed my G-Pot Crew channel to Gamer Potheads, and then left it stagnant until I can get some content on here. But here is the situation. So, you're seeing this podcast I did with my podcast pals, both JD, Johnny Donuts 777, and Campo from Campo Reviews, aka RLG Cast. Here's the thing. I never uploaded this video. This is a podcast that no one has seen yet. It was top 5 cult movies. I really enjoyed making this, but I also was going to sit down and put a lot of work into it by having pictures of each movie, so on and so forth. But then I never got to it. And it's been putting on the back burner to where I've literally fizzled out the name Gamer Potheads to Putty. And it doesn't, there's still content on the Putty channel that has the Gamer Pods name, but slowly it's being kind of pushed back outside of my, most popular viewed videos. But I felt so bad that this never got posted. And it's because of life in general that just happens to do it. And I was like, this needs to be posted. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. And since it is a Gamer Potheads video, and I do my Gamer Potheads intro, so on and so forth, I felt it's time for me to drop it. Just don't even edit it. Let it be the way it is. Don't go through, take out any edits. Just drop it the way it is. And that's what we're going to do today, guys. So, I have not uploaded a video on my Gamer Potheads, aka G-Pot Crew channel in 3 years. And finally, we have a video for you guys to enjoy. I'm calling this Lost Gamer Potheads Media, or Lost Media, or Lost Spin, something. You already know the title. It's clearly there. But I'm so sorry it took me so long to upload this. Again, this was September of 2021, ladies and gentlemen. Almost a year. 3 months shy. But anyway, with that being said, enjoy this podcast of our top 5 cult movies. And Buddy, take it away. Welcome to your Pothead, Joe Pal Putty Man here. Today, we are going to be talking about cult movies. What are cult movies? Those are movies that people love that may have not been popular or, didn't see great, popularity until they reached DVD, Blu-ray, however you want to look at it. It's it's movies that have a following with fans. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and introduce the panel today. Of course, I'm Putty Man. You guys know me. And now over here, we have on my meow on my left is
Are you saying
Johnny
meow?
JD Donuts, meow? Johnny Donuts 777. What's up? How you doing?
Howdy. Good. Excellent.
All right. And then we got right down here, meow, Mr. Kimball, Mr. John Kimball, the Kimberly Crunch.
From you idiot.
Welcome, Mr. Kimball Crunch, Ginny Kimball alive. I don't know where I'm going with this.
He made the jump from WWE to WCW, so he has to change his name. So he's now Kimball Crunch instead of Campbell Crunch.
You just gotta let it go. You just gotta live with it, right?
All right. So, like I said, we're going to be going through all of the cult movies that we like and everything, honorable mentions of things. And again, these are very popular movies in nature. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to actually start like counterclockwise and start from the left with JD 777. You want to go ahead?
So my number 5 is a Caps Tonight. Speaking of Caps, it goes along with your hat. It is a tie between the Warriors and UHF.
Oh yeah, I like the Warriors, but I'm also happy about UHF. We'll go through. We'll do like you guys do on your other podcasts, and we'll go through and talk about them afterwards. So what we'll do is, Mr. Campo Crunch, if you want to go ahead into your number 5.
My number 5 is Caps, a hard Caps. I got, of course, it has to be on this list, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Ooh, good one. And actually, I'm glad you said that. We'll talk about that later. That's awesome. Okay, so for my number 5, it's capped as well. I have Pink Floyd's The Wall and Clockwork Orange.
Good pick. Number 4 for me, The Big Lebowski.
I knew that'd be on there somewhere.
Number 4 for me, this is Spinal Tap.
Okay, you guys are going through my honorable mentions right now. Okay, Meow. My number 4 right now is from a great movie I'd like to talk about right now, and that would be Super Troopers.
I mean, yeah. So, JD,
my number 3 is Heavy Metal.
Oh, nice.
Putty's like, I didn't even pick that one.
No, I got my mentions.
My number 3 is Capsed Up Hard. I got 10 Things I Hate About You, which I don't know how it's a cult movie, but every single thing on the internet says it is. And Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
All right. For my number 3, I have Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, that leads right into my number 2 because it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
Well, that leads right into my number 2 because it was originally, it's a Caps. It was originally just a Big Lebowski, but when I saw that Putty decided that Super Troopers was a cult movie, I added Super Troopers there.
That's right. I looked up lists, and it was on 2 lists of cult movies. I'm like, okay, so I didn't know it was a cult movie either.
I never saw it once. I looked up 37 lists.
Really? I saw it of 2 lists. I can actually bring you the list, literally.
I don't care. I put it on my list.
Hey, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Exactly.
I'll take a liter of cola while I'm at it.
Well, that's the other thing too. This one I didn't know was on cult list either, but I went and add it, and we all love it, so I went ahead and added it, and that is Clerks. Apparently is on cult list. So there we go. Clerks.
I will get to that.
Yeah,
because that's my number 1.
And my number 1 is the greatest cult movie of all time. It's actually a cult movie, not like both of these guys' lists. It's Repo Man.
That is in my honorable
Repo Man is
too.
an excellent movie.
Yes. All right, and then my number 1 is UHF.
Yeah, I seen that coming from a mile away.
I don't understand why you would see that. Why? All right, guys, we'll go through the list one more time. JD, if you want to go through your list one more time.
So I have 5 is Caps with the Warriors and UHF. Number 4 is the Big Lebowski. Number 3 is Heavy Metal. Number 2 is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And number 1 is Clerks.
Right. Number 5 for me, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Number 4, this is Spinal Tap. Number 3, it's 10 Things I Hate About You and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. There's a lot of words here.
Yeah.
Number 2, The Big Lebowski and Super Troopers. And number 1, Repo Man.
Perfect. And then for me, a Captain number 5, Pink Floyd's The Wall and Clockwork Orange. Number 4, Super Troopers. Number 2, Rocky Horror Picture. Number 3, Rocky Horror Picture. Number 2, Clerks, and number 1, UHF. All right. So as I say on the other show, this is the list. If that's all you came for, you continue on. We're doing. I'm copying you guys. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually go into discussion. I knew this was going to have problems because when I looked up stuff and I was seeing some stuff on one list and some other, because another one, I have like a few other honorable mentions here. So I'm like, that's on the list. And I didn't know that people considered them cult movies. So we'll go through that. So is there anything you guys want to bring up based on the list? I know, John, you wanted to talk about a few things.
Okay. So basically, so just my thought process here was as many lists as I looked at, I wasn't lying. I looked at about 30 different lists from major websites. So Super Troopers was on none of them, but I'm very happy to put Super Troopers on my list because I consider it like that type of movie. For me, no matter how I felt, I had Clerks on honorable mentions just because I kept seeing it on lists. But to me, I do not consider that at all a cult movie in any way.
See, I kind of agree.
Why?
Because it's not that type of movie to me. And Kevin Smith has garnered very big success, and everyone knows Clerks. It's not like a hidden gem. Clerks is like a movie that everybody knows. But I'm okay with it. I put it on my honorable mentions because I was like, if it's going to be considered, I'll put it. But I didn't want to put it on my list because to me, I just didn't feel like it belonged on this list. Like even 10 Things I Hate About You, but I just love that movie so much that I saw it on every single list. I was like, okay, I'm going to put that.
100%. That is an odd pick, but
yeah. Hey. Well, like for example, I wasn't thinking Blues Brothers would actually be on that list, but
that to me doesn't make sense either because that's one of the biggest
Brothers
comedies.
It became such a mainstream. Everybody knows that car chase scene, right?
That's why I said when I said at the beginning that when it comes to like opinions, I knew the cult movie thing was going to be a big thing. So if you're still watching this and you have a cult movie to mention, because we're still going to go through honorable mentions. I have a lot here that I wanted to talk about. Some that I put on there myself, like, why is it these lists don't have this movie when this feels like more like a cult movie than?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of my honorable mentions I'm being actually serious here, not just like, oh yeah, they're honorable mentions. I removed so many movies off this list. This list I've been changing it since 2 weeks ago when you first told me about it.
Yeah,
and
same here.
I couldn't have, the only thing I knew is that I was gonna have Rocky Horror Picture Show on it, and
100%,
Repo
yeah.
Man was gonna be number one.
See, the Repo Man actually became honorable mention because there's two Repo Man that actually have like a cult following. There's Repo Man, and then there's the
Repo Men.
Yeah, sorry, Repo Men, and then there's
Repo, the
genetic opera. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought, my bad. Go, continue.
Did you put the wrong one? Is that
No. I had Repo Man is the one you are talking about. There's another one called Repo Men with Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker. I thought that's what you were gonna say, but then there's the opera one. Yeah.
With Paul Sorvino singing his little heart out.
There's also, what's the other one with Neil Patrick Harris, Doctor Something? It's like a musical about a surgeon.
It was on Netflix.
I can't even remember the name. Yeah, that was a really popular cult movie too. I don't have that.
Well, see, here's, for example, I'm going to go through a few that I didn't think should be on there, but I'll see it on the list. For example, Army of Darkness and Evil Dead.
Like, I don't think that should be there either.
Yeah,
no. But okay, Army of Darkness.
Yes, I can argue Army of Darkness.
I can see that because it's the kind of movie you get together with people and you laugh at it because it's supposed to be laughed at. That's like the point of that movie.
Yeah.
But like Evil Dead is kind of like, I can see that people get together on Halloween and watch it, but it's not like Rocky Horror Picture Show where it's like,
people get dressed up, they interact with the movie in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
In 2021, Rocky Horror Picture Show does no longer has the ability to call itself a cult movie in terms of people knowing it, but in terms of the fact that everyone gathers together and like that's what keeps its cult status going, right? Because everyone knows that movie now.
That soundtrack.
Oh man, I know. And see, what people don't realize is I actually saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show when it actually actually in theaters with the interactive version. You know what I mean? And I said I was going to bring this up. You said Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Rocky Horror Picture Show. And what's really funny is when I saw it, I actually had seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but they were showing trailers at the beginning before the movie started, before the actors came out. And the girl that took me to go see it and everything, as soon as they showed Pee-wee's Big Adventure, she said, "Stand up and run around." I'm like, "What?" And we literally had to run around the theater until the trailer was done, and because he runs around in that movie. And now that right there, when you said and put those two together in one thing, I was like, that's just funny you said that because it's ironic.
I mean, I did remember you saying that from a video that we made, so it made sense for me to put it there. But Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a perfect example of a movie that it's not super mainstream, and in now like the 2021, nobody remembers Pee-wee. Especially that movie. They maybe know the show, but the movie.
On the other hand, Tim Burton, who directed that movie, has gone on to mainstream success as well.
I agree with that, but when you remember Tim Burton, you don't think of
Pee-wee.
When you remember Kevin Smith, you automatically think Clerks. It's like the first thing that comes to your head.
Well, because he repeats it 17 times.
Yeah, that's true. He's the Clerks guy.
It's a fat guy who directed Clerks, right?
Exactly.
Not anymore.
I want to say this real quick. I've got a ton of more honorable mentions that you guys, I broke down a bunch. You guys already said it. You guys are bring up some, but I want to bring up one that was on no list, but for some reason, I feel like it has a cult following, and I want to get your guys' opinion. And that's Videodrome. For some reason, I feel like it has a cult following, but it was on no list.
I saw it actually on a lot of lists, but like I said, I read a ridiculous amount of lists.
I think maybe because
I've seen Free Jack too.
Yes, but Videodrome is a super underrated movie. I believe it's David Cronenberg, so that explains a lot.
Cronenberg. Yeah,
but you know you're Canadian when you're David Cronenberg.
But that's another thing I'm just thinking of. You know how we both just said that you said about you saw on tons of lists and I didn't. I literally was seeing Super Troopers on a ton of lists, but then I was not seeing Videodrome. So I don't know if maybe search results were giving us both different places, different locations.
We got Canadian results.
I don't know.
I mean, David Cronenberg is from Toronto, so maybe it just.
I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because for me,
that's the guy who's wearing a New England hat and a San Antonio shirt.
That's true.
It's hilarious. All right, so that's hilarious. So give me a few.
That's my two favorite teams.
So give me some of you guys honorable mentions so I can maybe knock down some mine as well.
I'll give you my just the one. I didn't really keep these in order because I got kind of screwed up. Pink Flamingos.
Yes,
I think that's a definition of a cult movie. Like that's literally
that was on my honorable mention as well. One of John Waters' like best. Like That Crybaby was another really good one. Like John Waters has a lot of
he has a lot of
films.
really good movies. Pink Flamingos, I wouldn't say is one of his better movies, but it's the piece that he made that is like captivating. Like,
it put him on the map. I think more than.
But then let's put it this way: then if we can allow John Waters, which has a lot of movies from the '80s, why wouldn't even Kevin Smith's movies be in that way? Because I mean, John Waters' movies are known by a lot of people.
Yeah, but John Waters is not mainstream. And he prides himself on the fact of not being mainstream. Like that's his whole thing. Look at his movies. It's Tim Burton without the audience.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
But you also have to kind of look at the
Kevin
same
Smith
thing
doesn't. Kevin Smith is making mainstream movies.
Kevin Smith wants to make the mainstream movies. He wants the audience attention. Whereas John Waters just does it for the hell of it.
But that makes sense.
He does it for art.
But if
he's kind of like the movie version of Andy Warhol.
And he just making art.
Yeah, and him in that episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying Clerks can't be on here. Like I said, I saw that, but I just refuse to put it on my top 5.
It makes sense.
Makes sense.
That was my own personal choice,
and that makes sense. Going back to movies from the 70s, like you mentioned, Pink Floyd's The Wall. I want to put Tommy and Quadrophenia on there.
Oh yes,
Tommy. Okay.
Yeah, I thought Tommy I actually forgot about, and when I was going through the 70s movies, because the thing is like I said, the Wall was something I thought of, and the reason I thought of The Wall is because one of the lists said Clockwork Orange, and I said, well, wouldn't The Wall even be in that situation? And then,
but see, I don't know if I would consider Clockwork Orange because it's just become this. It was a cult movie, but I think over time, because the movie's gone so long, like people still remember A Clockwork Orange. People still dress up as the guys with the bowler hats. People still do that for Halloween. Whereas if you mention Tommy, people will be like, "What?"
Nobody knows that.
Oh yeah, of course, that makes sense.
But I mean, in the same thing, being like really deep into the movie community online, I agree with what you said. Like, Clockwork Orange is kind of like an obscure movie at first. But if you start to explore film, like the very first person basically that you automatically break down is Stanley Kubrick. It's like the beginner's guide to amazing movies. So it's kind of, I can see it's a cult movie that people would be like dressy uppy to go watch it if there's like an event, but like I don't know how cult it is. I mean, it's on every list, so I'm not gonna argue it.
You can't really argue that, but I'm just bringing up a point is all, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So any other ones? Because I got a lot here.
I have a crap load. Okay, I want to bring up one. I don't really want to talk about it, but I just want to bring it up. It was on every single list, and it's not a cult movie in any way to me. It's Dazed and Confused. I don't understand it at all.
That's such a mainstream movie.
That was literally on the bottom of my list because I was like, listen, I don't see how this, because everyone quotes all right, and all those.
But not only that soundtrack was garnered to the audience to go and watch the movie.
Yeah, and it's one of probably the best soundtrack ever in a movie, like arguably. I mean, Tron Legacy is pretty good. Shout out to Daft Punk.
All right. Okay, so how about I've got another one here, Donnie Darko. That one I actually see the good one's a good one. I actually was
Donnie Darko is a very good choice for a cult movie.
Yeah, and see the thing is though, I a lot of people did not like S Darko the sequel. I actually liked it. I don't know.
I didn't
like really. Yeah, I actually liked it. I enjoyed it, but
it didn't feel necessary.
No, it didn't feel necessary, but it was enjoyable in my eyes still. It was kind of like it was like George Lucas's THX 1138. That one was never really it's not a cult movie, but it wasn't popular either, but I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's not a sequel to a movie that people love.
True. Let's true. It makes sense. Yeah. So, any other ones?
I want to stick with some of my animated the animated because I put heavy metal on my list. I also want to include I want to include Fritz the Cat. And I want to include Rock and Rule.
Rock and Rule. I kept seeing those pop up, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go. Another one that kept popping up, I don't have it on this list that I just don't understand is Akira. That's not a cult movie.
That's not a cult. That is not a cult movie. That is probably the bigged Japanese anime film.
That is like the most popular anime period.
Yes, everybody knows Akira.
Okay, now here's the one that me and you talked about, and I actually I had it on my top number 5 on my list, and me and you, John, talked about when I was actually making this up, is Kids. It was the one we actually talked about that you even said it wasn't considered a cult movie, but apparently I was seeing it on the list as well, a couple of lists as well.
I still wouldn't consider it a cult movie. It's not that it doesn't even have a big following. Like, I get it, people like it, but it's not a movie that people love because it's such a dark movie.
Yeah.
And like it's not the type of movie that like people flock to. You know what I mean? Like Donnie Darko's dark, but it has like a really strange story that like makes you captivated by it, right? You're like, what the hell is going on? Kids is like, oh, this girl has AIDS.
It's like shock. It's more like shock, trying to be down to earth shock kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a teen version of Philadelphia.
But kids, yeah, exactly. But kids does have it. Kids has a decent following. What's the other one? Bully. There's the movie Bully, and kids are kind of like the same category. But yeah, that's fair. I'm not gonna against kids. Well,
let's throw out some trauma stuff out there. There's the Toxic
Avenger.
That's on my list.
Good choice. That was my next one I was going to say.
I put all three that I put because I think wouldn't the trilogy itself be considered a cult following just in general, or
just Trauma Pictures in general? I think has a cult following. Like, isn't Kentucky Fried Movie part of that universe?
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Movie is definitely.
Really?
It's definitely a cult movie. Tremors.
Oh, I just thought of another one too, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That
that one has
that's a good one. Even Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a cult movie at this point. Yeah. My number one here that I've had this whole time, I never said it, that I don't. It's on every list, and to me personally, I see it as a cult movie, but it might not be. It's Office Space.
Okay, see, I actually that's one of the ones I agree with because
it's a meme-worthy movie.
Yeah, because I made a list of ones I didn't agree with, and then Office Space. Like literally between the ones I figured these are not cult movies, why are on the list, and then right below it, the ones I feel like, oh yeah, these are cult movies. Office Space was right in the middle. It was kind of like it was like hitting a spot, but like I feel like it's popular enough to not. But at the same time,
you made both lists.
So basically, what I did was like, for example, I have it, and I'm deleting it right now as I'm going along. I have a list like I still have
of
5
ones
movies.
Questionable ones.
Yeah, I still have 5 questionable ones.
I do things old school.
So on your questionable list, do you have Friday?
No.
Because that was on every single list for like the last 10 lists I look at off the.
All I have
to
say about that is bye Felicia to that movie.
Yeah, right.
But I don't understand. I couldn't understand why people keep saying that. Okay, so I have American Psycho. That's definitely a cult movie.
Yes, that's a cult movie.
That almost made my list. I took it off at the last minute. It's that's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, not the second one with Mila Kunis.
No, not the second one.
Let me pull up one that we know about, and this made me mad when I saw it on like 2 lists. Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's not
a cult movie.
Actually, I saw a list that had I saw a list that had every single Tarantino movie on it.
See, I only saw one that too,
and that was from a major website. It was like Variety or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like what? Like what the heck? It didn't make sense. And then
I go give me one.
Yeah. And then the last one to go through on that one. I still have 2 more, but this is another one I felt like it was in that same realm as Labyrinth. Like,
okay, go say your last 2. You have 2 left.
Yeah.
Okay. Get them both
and the other is MacGruber and The Princess Bride.
MacGruber might show up on another list later. Who knows?
Yeah. But no, Princess Bride. I don't think Princess Bride is a cult following. It gained a lot of mainstream success.
I agree,
for me, I think,
but I don't. I think it is a cult movie in a sense. I think through Deadpool,
I love that movie.
Through Deadpool, it's regained notoriety. When it first came out, it had it, but I think through the late 90s and the whole 2000s,
there was nostalgia for it.
It was like a weird movie that nobody knew about that everyone rediscovered in the 2010s, which I hate that movie. So
yeah, I love it.
I have a modern cult movie here, which is totally has cult status all over it. It's Jennifer's Body.
Oh, that's not the one I was thinking of, actually.
Good. Jennifer's Body. That's a really good movie. It's super underrated. It has a really good performance by Megan Fox. That it just went.
What? Those words in the same sentence?
Yeah, it went under the radar because it's a movie about like how women have to deal with men taking advantage of them. But
yeah, that makes sense.
It's done in a horror movie way, and I think that message like blew over everybody's heads and no one really saw that, and it was just like a stupid horror movie to them.
And I'm thinking something else. I'm thinking It Follows.
It Follows is I wouldn't say it's a cult movie, but that's a great movie.
Well, the one I was thinking you were talking about was The Room. Like
The Room.
That's
not really that modern.
I think at this point though, The Room is become a parody of itself.
But I have to admit, in terms of people gathering to enjoy an experience, it has to be. I think it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show. It has to be on a cult list.
Yeah.
Which now that you say that, I gotta ask you guys. I put
Miami Connection. That's a cult.
I want to ask you guys. What about Shock Therapy?
Yeah, that's what early Wes Craven.
No. Shock Therapy is the sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh yes, you're right.
Yeah,
okay. I'm
and see,
thinking of Shocker.
Well, see, it was on no one's list, but I'm like, wouldn't that, because it still has a following because of Rocky Horror.
I mean, but it's not the same.
It's
I didn't even know that was the name.
Yeah, it's called Shock Therapy. Yeah,
I've
just
seen
called
it
Shock
so
Therapy.
many times, and I never knew that was the name.
It never even had the Rocky Horror name on it. It literally is called Shock Therapy, and it actually has what's his name, the butler. I know his name. Literally,
Richard O'Brien is the actor's name.
Freaking I can't think of his name right now.
Riff Raff.
Yeah.
Deep friggin' pull, Riff Raff.
Yeah, Riff Raff. Yeah,
like the rapper.
I could sing the song, but I couldn't even think of the thing. Anyway,
right. But it has Magenta and Riff Raff in the movie.
Yeah,
Magenta is the maid, right?
Yeah. But Brad and Janet are in it too. They just recast him, remember? Because they actually did bring in Brad and Janet back, but they just recast him, and I did not like the new cast.
Wasn't it Barry Bostwick?
I think. Oh no, he was the original. He was in Rocky Horror. That's Barry Bostwick was in the original.
Barry Bostwick was it was Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon as the couple, Brad and Janet.
Listen, you can't replace Tim Curry.
No.
This actually just had Riff Raff and Magenta.
I've seen it. It used to play on Much Music, which is our MTV.
Yeah, it was on Halloween. They'd play it right after Rocky Horror.
Exactly. Okay, so I got 3 more left. You guys got more on your honorable?
You said you had 2 left, and you did though.
No, those 2 were actually the ones that I said that.
Okay. Wet Hot American Summer.
Mm-hmm. I was on a lot of lists. I didn't put on my honorable mentions, but yeah, you're right.
At this point, I'm past honorable mentions, and I'm just into naming movies. If that makes sense.
That's what's happening with me.
My brother and me had a talk, and I kind of came to terms with it. Like, we get to a point where it stops being honorable mentions, and we're just mentioning good movies in the genre that people should watch.
Yeah. Well, the other ones I want to bring up was Empire Records and
Empire Records. Live. Okay. They Live, to me, I can see the cult, but it's also anything with Carpenter's name on it. If anything, Assault on Precinct 13 is more culty than more of a They cult. Live.
I guess,
because then again, you want to add if you got to add that, you got to add The Thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's like we said, we're past the point of honorable mentions. So just watch this movie. Point,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Watch John Carpenter's.
What do you have?
Phenomenal. Me, I'm pretty much done on my cult movies. I don't have very much.
I got
else.
A few more.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Heathers.
That was on a lot. I saw
Heathers is actually a really good movie that was so ahead of its time, and it got really backlash for the dark subject matter that it dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Winona Ryder was really good in the 80s.
Yeah,
you know what? On that vein, I want to throw out Jawbreaker.
Oh my god!
I forgot about Jawbreaker. That's with
Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's a good.
You just made me think of another one.
The Dolls, Valley of the Dolls.
The Valley of the Dolls. That's one. I was going to say Welcome to the Dollhouse, but
Beyond the Valley of the Russ Meyer had a lot of cult movies.
Everything. Faster Pussycat, Kill, Kill, Kill.
Yeah. Russ Meyer's had quite a few.
His movies are super strange.
Well, they are weird.
He's the sillier version of John Waters.
Okay, so let me ask you this: a question. Now the kids are getting older, and a lot of them might not be too aware of it. Would you consider Napoleon Dynamite to be one of those movies that's getting a cult following? Because I mean, it's not as well known.
I think it will be in the future because it is one of those movies that people have a huge attachment to, and it's quotable to the point where you could say every word in the movie, right? Mm-hmm. And it's people the song. You can dance to the song. You could do the dance with him. I mean, there's a lot to that.
But I mean, then again, in the same vein, the other movie, Nacho Libre, too, would have to be.
Back in my day, I could throw the pigskin a quarter mile.
Right. And the only other thing I think you put on your list was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Did anyone?
Yes, I have.
No,
but that was one of my actual honorable mentions. It's the last one of those that I have left.
Okay. Fantastic that's my last movie. One, too.
All right, I'll just go through mine fast. I have Hocus Pocus. I actually see this one as really being a cult movie now. Reanimator.
Yes.
I think Reanimator definitely gets people in the theaters laughing at it. It's a really well made movie. Brazil.
I saw that on a lot of lists.
Brazil.
The Adventures of was it the Adventures of Baron von Munchausen or whatever?
Yeah, and then also Times. I think it's called Time
Ice Pirates or Time Pirates.
Time Pirates or something like that. He almost all of his movies can.
Terry Gilliam. Yeah, it's all Terry.
And then I have Return of the Living Dead. Specifically because it's so different than the other ones. A lot of lists had what's the very first one?
Night of the Living Dead.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
That's quintessential starting off, I'm going to become a horror fan movie. So I can't see that as cult. Return of the Living Dead is absolutely crazy nonsense.
Great.
And just like a stupid, enjoyable time. And it's nothing like the rest of the main series, right? Because this guy was the writer, and because it was what do you call
Romero, right?
No, Romero directed it, but the guy who wrote it with him, because there was no one owned the rights to the name, he wrote a sequel to it, and because no one owned the rights to the name of the Living Dead, he just called it Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, because
so Romero's series goes on Land of the Dead, like whatever.
Day of the Dead, yeah.
Day of the Dead,
Dawn of the Dead, yeah.
Heck, I'll even put a link to it at the end of this video. I actually posted on Halloween, not last year, but the year before. No, actually last year, I think, the whole Night of the Living Dead movie, the original black and white one, because there is no copyright. You literally, it is open to the public.
That's the word I was looking for. There's no copyright.
Yeah, it's actually
public domain.
Yep,
it's public domain.
And I have it there. I actually made it, and I've got the thumb. Like I did all that, and literally, I'm making, there's ad revenue set up for it. So yeah, that was something. That was a part of time where if you didn't get a copyright license, people just started using it. And that's one of those movies that has such a huge following, and it's so big, but it's free to everyone. You know what I mean? You literally can go and make money off
of
it.
Sometimes with really quintessential pieces of art in that sense, don't you want people to have access to it very easily?
Of course.
Like I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that keeps his legacy going forever, right?
Exactly.
He's a legendary horror director. He's up there with the Carpenters and the Cravens, and like those are people that are in the horror genre will live forever.
Exactly.
Speaking of horror, are you going to mention Troll 2?
No, I'm not, but that's a good choice. You know what? Would you consider Nightmare on Elm Street 2 a cult movie? Because it's batshit crazy.
It is batshit crazy, but it's not a cult movie because the series went on and on and on.
But that movie sucks.
Because if you were going to do that, then you would say Halloween
Troll 2 is considered a cult movie. It's a really bad movie, but
what about Critters 2?
Critters 2. Ghoulies.
That's a cult movie.
I hate to stop you guys, but the timer is getting down. I've got like 5 minutes. So before we actually wrap things up and everything, I do want to ask you guys, were there any movies that, now that we're naming, was there any movies that you personally like that you can name off the top of your head real quickly that you hope eventually one day will get a cult following?
Nothing?
You can't think of anything?
Yeah, I do. There's so many, like I don't even want to get into it, but there's a lot of comedy movies that I really hope like in the future really pick up a cult following. But like watch Super Troopers, watch 10 Things I Hate About You. 10 Things I Hate About You is probably the best teen like romance dramedy movie that exists.
I don't know. She's All That's pretty good too.
It's better than She's All That. All right. Okay. Say Anything is pretty good. But
yes.
I mean, of the 90,000.
Yeah.
See, I knew this was going to be a good topic. That's the reason why I wanted to.
You know what? Gross Point Blank. I want to put Gross Point Blank.
Yes, that should be. There you go.
See? Well, there you guys
like that. John Cusack.
Guys, comment below. I'm going to go ahead and post a link to both of their YouTube channels. Make sure you check out Johnny Donut 777. Check out his channel. Check out his Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and post it in the bottom of the description. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead and Temple Reviews on Instagram as well as RLG Cast. Make sure you go check them out. Follow, subscribe, do all that, guys. And also tell me in the comments, what did you think was a cult movie? What is your favorite cult movie? Give us your top 5.
School of Rock.
There you go. See, School of Rock is another one. Anyway,
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Oh, it's such a great way to end it. Anyway, guys, as always, I am Putty Man with Gamer Potheads. It's been a pleasure entertaining you. And do not forget, robots that score high score. What the heck? Peace out.
I'm Steve Dave.
Oh, that's great.
I really think that with like the songs and how quotable it is, a School of Rock should be like a cult movie.
I think that should become a cult movie. Absolutely. And I'm hit or miss with Jack Black, but I think School of Rock should.
Oh my god, is Cable Guy a cult movie?
Yes, it is. I would consider
that would have been my number 1.
By the way, guys, we still have 4 minutes and I didn't hit the stop button, so we can.
No, we're not keeping this in.
I'll take it out.